Hello viewers, how are you? I hope you are doing well. Welcome to Elimu TV, the #1 channel where you watch and learn. And I'm taking you through Biology Form 3. Our topic today is growth and development. Our subtopic is growth, and this is lesson 27. I'm your tutor, Madam Sandra Awino. Stay tuned. By the end of the lesson, you will be able to, by the end of the lesson, you will be able to describe the sigmoid growth curve, and number 2, describe the faces of the curve. So this is the sigmoid growth curve. You can see how it looks. We have the log of numbers of bacteria, and then we have the time in hours. You can see there we have very many faces. The first one is the lag face. Can you see the lag face? The lag face is a straight line. You can see it, the lag face. And then the one following it is the log face, or the exponential face. The exponential face, followed by what? The stationary face. Look at your diagrams. The stationary face, it's at the 5th hour, and then finally is the decline phase. Decline phase. Can you see it? So we are going to describe it. We are starting with the lag phase. The lag phase is the initial phase. The lag phase is the initial phase of growth, and as you can see in the diagram, the growth rate is very slow. Why is the growth rate very slow? Number 1, the number of cells dividing are very few, and number 2, cells are not adjusted to their environment. So in lag phase, you have to remember that in lag phase, the growth rate is very low because the cells dividing are very few, and number 2, the cells have not adapted to their environment. The second phase is the log phase. Or we can call it what? Exponential phase. So in exponential phase, you can see the growth increases rapidly or exponentially. The growth increases exponentially. There are reasons for that. Number 1, the cells dividing have increased, and then the cells have adjusted to their environment. The third reason is food and other factors are not limited. There is no competition. In this phase, there is no competition. And then the third one, the death rate is very low. So you can see in the exponential phase, the growth rate increases rapidly. The growth rate increases rapidly due to the reasons that we've said. The growth rate increases rapidly. And then we have the third phase, which is the stationary phase. The third phase is the stationary phase, and you can see the slow growth rate, and sometimes the growth rate is stationary. There are reasons for that. One reason is most cells have fully differentiated, so they are not dividing, and then fewer cells are still dividing, and then environmental factors such as shortage of oxygen, accumulation of metabolic waste, all the cells have really accumulated. They are very many, and because they are many, there are a lot of waste accumulated. They are competing for food, for oxygen, and so the growth rate slows down. The last phase is the plateau phase or the decline phase. So this phase marks the period of growth rate because the growth has ceased, and it's decreasing rapidly. So the rate of cell division, the reasons why the growth has ceased is because the rate of cell division equals the cell death. The rate of cell division equal to the cell death, and all the cells and tissues have been differentiated, so there is no further increase. So there is no further increase. So we've described the sigmoid curve, and you've seen that we have how many phases? 4 phases. The first one was the lag phase, whereby the growth rate was very slow because the cells were not adjusted to the environment. Then you have the exponential phase, whereby the cells were growing rapidly at an exponential rate. The third one you said is the decelerating phase, and then the plateau phase. Are we together? Are we together, students? So we've come to the end of our lesson. And I have an assignment for you. Please draw for me a sigmoid curve. Draw the sigmoid curve and describe the faces. Of the sigmoid curve. You have to remember the faces. The first one is the lag phase, which is the slow growth rate. The second one is the exponential, and then the decelerating phase, and finally the plateau phase. In reference, you can study KLB Secondary Biology Student Book 3. You can study KLB Secondary Biology Student Book 3. For this and more, please contact us. Our SMS number is 0723 144 On YouTube, you can get us on Elimu TV, Facebook on Elimu TV, and Twitter at Elimu TV _KE.